rowing in winter?
Harborside eats up, portside pulls around.
A great idea if you want to stay in shape
Row, buddy, row! Back straight!
and go after a world championship, says Andrew Carter.
I learned that you can get quite warm in the winter on the water. I think that's my favorite thing about it.
The idea of the club was to create educational boating-related programs that preserve and broaden the maritime heritage shared by the Belfast community and strengthen its connection to the sea. In the process, they built pilot gigs.
When we go to Cornwall, we're going to be rowing in wooden gigs that have thule pins instead of oarlocks. So very traditional.
Tell me what a full pin is.
A thule pin is just two pieces of wood that your oar sits in between.
So you better know what you're doing.
You better know what you're doing, but we've rowed in it quite a bit because we have one.
Back up a little bit and I'll write it down.
Pilot gigs have a great history on the coast of Maine. In the 19th century, they meant jobs if you could row well and fast.
Pilot gig was used to take pilots out to incoming ships into harbors. And the captains in the ships didn't know the individual harbors, so different pilots would go out there and guide the ships in. The tradition started that the first pilot that got to the ship was going to get the job, so they designed the boats to be fast so that they could race out there and get that pilot and get the job.
Come Boating tries to attract all, and while we're focusing on racing groups, it's fair to say with rowing comes fitness, with experience comes chemistry, and with that chemistry comes a certain beauty, says Serena Cole.
I think when everybody's together and we've got our timing down and the boat is just moving along really smoothly, it's like we're one person.
6, keep on it now!
Rowing races is exhausting, but very much a team sport. There can be no weak link, and rowers seem to dig a little deeper for their mates. Come Boating will send a men's team, a women's team, and a women's veteran team.
This is the creme de la creme. This is it. This is the race where you really separate the women from the girls.
Right. This event attracts the best rowers from around the world. Getting there will be half the fun, and getting ready has had benefits of its own, says Monty Reeve.
I've heard that rowing's the only sport that uses every single muscle in your body. And that's the way I feel after I row, as though everything's worked out, that I don't have to go the next day and try to work out the rest of those muscles.
A rowboat's power comes from the middle. Ethan Shaw is proud to be part of what is usually called the engine room, but they have a different name here.
The pain room. We like to get in the pain room. This hurts, but rowing with 5 other guys, you row for the person in front of you and the person behind you. I played a lot of team sports in my life, hockey, soccer, lacrosse. There's no team sport like rowing in a gig, because if you're not pulling on your oar, you're letting the team down.
Come Boating also offers other programs, such as sailing, but right now, as winter threatens to perhaps, maybe wrap up, it's the rowers who are alone on the water. Eric Matthews says being recruited on this team was a life-changing experience.
I was donating blood, and some guy I've never seen since told me to come down and check out Come Boating, and I did, and I ended up getting out of the Coast Guard to live here, in part because of the community I found in Come Boating.
The men's crew has an advantage. Their coxswain started rowing at 8 and switched to cox at 10. In fact, her name is Rowan Walowski, and she says she never yells at home, but on the gig, it's different.
They respond if I tell them they're doing something wrong, they fix whatever they're doing wrong. They also, if I tell them they need to row harder, they always row harder, no matter how tired they are. They always can find a little bit more energy inside them and put it into the oar.
So this is a seat of power.
It is indeed.
The Belfast community has rallied to take on the English before, and there's no love lost.
We've been told that we won't do well, and I think that's given us a little bit of motivation. We were told...
Who told you that, the Limeys?
Yeah, the Limeys told us we probably ought to practice our drinking as opposed to our rowing, because that's all we're going to be good at over there compared to them.
We've surprised them before, and the crews from Come Boating in Belfast are determined to do it again.